You're not going to bother me, man. Like I said, I'm give you your time. It's all good.
Appreciate it.
Would you prefer me to talk to make sure everything's working properly? Everybody got me? All right. All right, well, I want to thank everybody for coming today. My name is Jeremy Walker. I'm the state's attorney here in Randolph County. Obviously, yesterday we had an officer-involved shooting in Red Bud in the very early morning hours. We are here to release as much information as we can about that today. Joining me here today, I've got our sheriff, Shannon Wolf. Chrissy Gottensheimer with the Sheriff's Office is going to help us with an audio file that we're going to attempt to play for you. We've got Trooper Hoffman with the Illinois State Police, and then we got Chief of Police from Red Bud, John Brittingham. Again, my name is Jeremy Walker, and I am the state's attorney here in Randolph County. I'm going to do the best that I can today to get out as much information as I can today. I feel that there is a need to be as transparent as possible. We're going to release and be as detailed as we can. Obviously, there may be things we can't release and can't talk about today, and I will let you know that if I feel that we can't. Additionally, this is all preliminary. Obviously, this just happened, 36 hours ago. Usually investigations take weeks to complete, and I would consider this to take weeks to complete. This is not a complete investigation. This is an ongoing investigation. But I feel it's our duty to get out as much information as we possibly can. So, early on Sunday morning, May 23rd, 2021, about 12:19 in the morning, is the first time that it's noted that we had an interaction with this motorcycle, that it turns out that a Timothy J. Snyder from St. Charles, Missouri was operating. One of our local deputies, Jonathan Barber with the Randolph County Sheriff's Office, attempted to initiate a traffic stop on that motorcycle near Gum Springs Lane, near Ellis Grove. That is, for those of you that took Route 3 down here, it's probably about 10 miles from here. I do have maps that I'm going to provide to you. There's color copies up here as far as where that interaction is. That vehicle did not stop. They did try to bring that vehicle to a stop. Deputy Barber, just a few seconds later, noticed that the motorcycle is southbound near the Shawneetown Trail, and the speeds are at 90 miles an hour. Deputy Barber, at that point, makes a decision to terminate his pursuit. Deputy Barber, of course, had radio traffic. The city of Chester heard that radio traffic, and Chester PD begins what's called a CAD, computer-aided dispatch. I have those for you all as well today that we are going to release. This Officer Seth Book with the Chester Police Department hears the radio traffic and positions himself at the Chester Mental Health Center, which is right outside of Chester. He does see the vehicle, the motorcycle, notes that it's headed towards Chester. He again attempts to initiate a traffic stop. The vehicle did not stop, the motorcycle. Officer Book notes that the motorcycle was traveling around 60 miles an hour in the city of Chester, near the Lawhead service station, and the motorcycle is all over the road. Officer Book is calling out on dispatch that the motorcycle had ran some stop signs at intersections, and they ultimately at 12:24 lose sight of the motorcycle here in Chester. Officer Book notes at 12:24 a.m. he deactivates his emergency lights. 2 minutes later, at 12:26 a.m., Deputy Stephen Miles with the Randolph County Sheriff's Office attains a visual on the motorcycle. It is now northbound, heading back towards Red Bud on Route 3. It's just inside Chester city limits, again near the Lawhead gas station. Deputy Miles notes at 12:26 later on that the vehicle's passing the Cohen ball field. Deputy Jason Yinger, who was also on duty that evening with the Randolph County Sheriff's Office, attains a visual on the motorcycle heading north on Route 3, again near the Shawneetown Trail. Just trying to get a visual. No lights are activated at this point to our understanding. Just trying to keep a visual on the motorcycle to see what the motorcycle is up to. At 12:42, Officer Luke Horrell of the Red Bud Police Department notes that the motorcycle is back near Red Bud. Officer Horrell notes about 40 seconds later that the vehicle is now southbound on Route 3, heading back to Chester. That is near the intersection of Blackjack Road, which is right outside of the Red Bud city limits, just south of it. At 12:43, Officer Horrell notes that the vehicle is southbound again near Richfield Road, which is heading towards Ruma. And then at 12:45, Officer Horrell notes that he lost sight of the vehicle near Ruma. The next visual that we have is Deputy Yinger radars the motorcycle going 103 miles an hour over the Evansville Bridge, which is over the Kaskaskia River. Again, there is no chase at this point. Lights are not on to our understanding, just trying to make sure that the motorcycle doesn't hurt someone. Deputy Barber at 12:49 attains a visual on the motorcycle at State Route 3 at 9 Mile Creek, which is between Evansville and Ellis Grove. Notes that the vehicle is traveling 90 miles an hour. At 12:56, there was a civilian call to 911 reporting that the motorcycle was at State Route 3 and Shawneetown Trail. At 12:57, Deputy Barber notes that the vehicle is now northbound again on State Route 3, so we're heading back towards Red Bud at 50 miles an hour. At 12:57, there's another civilian 911 call indicating that the motorcycle is near Ellis Grove, Mimosa Drive, which is just right outside of Ellis Grove on State Route 3, quote unquote, going at least 100 miles an hour. Now that again is just a civilian's estimate. That's what's in the dispatch notes. I don't think he or she had a radar gun, but just what they told dispatch. At 1:19, Officer Horrell notes that the motorcycle is back in Red Bud. It is noted in his radio traffic that he's not going to pursue him, and there are no lights on. The next call to dispatch is at 1:26:35. Red Bud 7, which is Officer Michael Collins, initiates a radio call to dispatch indicating he needed an ambulance because he had been shot in the leg. And we have that recording. We're trying our best to play it, and we're going to push it out to you via email.
We'll start over and give you a chance to get ready to.
It is a little staticky. Red Bud, as you know, is on the north part of our venue, and it goes through repeaters, and it's a little staticky. But again, we are going to push this out to you via email. For those of you who requested, we'll get that to you. If you want to try again.
In the country, father and shot. Unit calling Randolph County location. What the fuck? What's right? You got you shot away for you to do now. County from 9, I believe it's Red Bud unit. Country Club. Police station been shot.
That's it. Like I said, it's a little staticky. We are going to get that out to those of you that would like it. We'll just need your email address as we do that, and I can hang tight. All right. So what transpires next, based upon preliminary information again, what we have been advised is that the motorcycle was being followed, again, not pursued, out of Red Bud on State Route 3, which is also known in Red Bud city limits as West Market Street, by officers Luke Horrell and Michael Collins. The motorcycle, for whatever reason, turns around. It was almost ready to leave Red Bud towards Waterloo, so we'd be westbound now. Turns around and heads back towards the officers. It's unclear as to how the motorcycle gets into the ditch, if it slid or if it was operated into the ditch. However, it becomes pretty clear that the vehicle gets stuck in the mud, the motorcycle does. And at that time, Officer Collins, because the vehicle is now stopped, the motorcycle stuck in the mud with a male occupant, he then confronts the male. Officer Collins notes that a struggle ensues immediately. The suspect was fighting him. Officer Horrell appeared. Officer Horrell deployed his taser to attempt to gain control of the situation, and neither officer was able to control the subject. During that struggle, the male suspect removed a 9mm handgun from his waist area and shot Officer Collins in the right calf. Officer Collins then radioed dispatch for an ambulance. Officer Horrell then told the suspect on repeated occasions to drop the weapon. He refused, and Officer Horrell removes his 9mm service weapon and discharges it 4 times, and the suspect deceased. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Officer Collins was transported to Mercy South in St. Louis, treated for his injury, and was released, and he is now recovering home at this time to my understanding. Officer Horrell has been cooperative in the investigation, has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation, which is protocol. Michael Collins has been a peace officer for 11.5 years total, 1.5 years with the Red Bud Police Department. Officer Horrell has been a peace officer for 9 years, 5 years in the Red Bud Police Department. The Illinois State Police has taken control of the investigation. They were on scene and investigated the matter, and we were able to confirm the suspect or the deceased individual is a Timothy J. Snyder, 27 years of age, white male of St. Charles, Missouri. Illinois State Police early yesterday morning conducted 3 witnesses with civilians, property owners, neighbors. They were interviewed and provided statements which appear to substantiate the reports of Officer Horrell and Officer Collins, in that the motorcycle became stuck in the mud, a fight scuffle ensued, a gun was discharged, followed by a gap in time, and then repeated gunfire in rapid succession. A search of the deceased backpack revealed a large quantity of suspected methamphetamine. Scales, baggies were located, as well as various power tools. The motorcycle operated by Mr. Snyder was stolen from St. Louis. The last registered owner was from O'Fallon, Illinois, and the ignition had been what they referred to as punched, which had allowed him to operate the motor vehicle. Mr. Snyder appears to have been convicted of felonies in Illinois and Missouri. He was sentenced to the Department of Corrections in St. Clair County for possession of a weapon by a felon and criminal damage to property. It also appears he was convicted of a felony in 2018 in St. Charles, Missouri for controlled substance and resisting arrest by fleeing and leaving the scene of the accident. This is still considered an ongoing investigation. If you witnessed this incident in Red Bud, would have any input from anybody that witnessed the struggle, drove by the officers whenever they had encountered Mr. Snyder. We are asking you to contact the Illinois State Police at 618-542-2171, extension 1207. Again, that number 618-542-2171, extension 1207. And again, this is an ongoing investigation. No decisions, formal decisions have been made, but we wanted to get out as much information as we possibly can. Along those lines, I'm also willing to open this up to questions that you may have. Does anybody have any questions? Travis?
Yeah, do you guys have any knowledge of why Mr. Snyder was in Randolph County at the time?
We don't. There is no known connection to Randolph County, Illinois that I am aware of at this time.
You said the motorcycle was stolen out of O'Fallon. Is that Illinois or Missouri?
Actually, the motorcycle was stolen out of St. Louis. It's my understanding the city of. The registered owner was from O'Fallon, Illinois. You know, I honestly don't know the answer to that question. I thought I came prepared today, and I apologize. You stumped me. I'm sorry.
I take it the weapon was recovered that the officer was shot with. Has there been any lab testing done that does the forensics from what went through his leg match?
At this point, we have not been able to do that. That takes some time. But yes, we have recovered the 9mm that is suspected to have been Mr. Snyder's. We have recovered shell casings. We have recovered projectiles. All of those things will be sent to the Illinois State Police Crime Lab for testing and analyzation. But that takes some time. But yes.
Did he fire upon the officer who ended up shooting
To my understanding, based upon the information that I have, that answer would be no, is that he discharged his weapon, being Mr. Snyder, shot the officer through the leg, and then was given verbal commands by Officer Horrell to drop the weapon, and he didn't, and that's whenever Officer Horrell discharged his weapon.
How many times did he fire at the first officer who he hit?
One time, to my understanding, went straight through his leg.
Were there additional bullets in the weapon?
Yes, both. Officer Horrell had live rounds remaining, and the deceased had live rounds remaining. And in the chamber.
At the time of the shooting, was it just Officer Collins and Worrell there on the scene?
As far as police officers, yes, there do appear to be 3 people that were witnessing this. The motorcycle apparently had a very loud exhaust, distinct noise, and that caught the attention of 3 people who were right there.
You know how long ago it had been stolen?
I don't. I apologize.
Were the witnesses in vehicles and they stopped, or were they living in homes near the area?
I'm trying to protect their identity as much as possible. I would hope that nobody knocks on their doors, but they were neighbors that lived there, home property owners.
Has the Redwood Police Department ever had a fatal shooting at the hands of an officer?
I don't believe so. It has been, the sheriff and I were talking about this yesterday. I can't remember the last time we've had an officer-involved shooting. It was in the early 80s.
Just in the county, you mean? Or
Yes, just in the county in general. We,
70s since an officer shot somebody.
and if you couldn't hear him, he believes it's been since the 70s since an officer shot somebody. And the other thing, too, is that we do not have body-worn cameras. There are no body-worn cameras, and to my knowledge, there's no dash cam videos either in any of the Red Bud squad cars, which is not uncommon. In a small jurisdiction like this, we just don't have a whole lot of that technology available to us. In 2025, we have to have them. That's part of the new crime bill that Illinois passed, for better or worse, about some things that they want changed. Every department is going to have body-worn cameras by 2025.
So, State's Attorney, what are you looking for from this investigation? What's the outcome?
All I want are the facts. I'm not looking for a particular outcome. What we need to do is that we need all of the items that we have to be tested. It's going to get a fair set of eyes, and after I get all of the information that can be made available for me, I'll make a decision based upon the information that I have before me.
I mean, obviously, with the suspect deceased, the only thing that could happen criminally would be some charges against the officers about it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the only possibility, but as you could tell at this time, it does not appear that there would be anything that's leading in that direction. But again, and as I've told Mr. Snyder's family, and there's some of them here today, this is not a closed book. You know, we are going to do our job here. It is our job to do here. You know, we're not just going to sweep anything under the rug. We are going to do our job. But based upon the information that we have, and you all are going to get it here in a minute, you know, at this time, it certainly appears that the officers were justified in the use of force.
Was he wounded in the, I mean, he got stuck in the mud, he didn't crash a motorcycle?
That is still a little up in the air to me. I would just be speculating at this point. You know, I was out on the scene myself. I mean, the vehicle was really stuck in the mud. It would be tough for me to tell if he laid it down, if he just drove on it. I don't know. I would be pure speculating at this point.
Was he shot multiple times?
To my understanding, that he was shot 4 times.
You have a prior mugshot of this gentleman?
I do not. I don't. I did my best to get everything I could put together today, but we had, for a small county, we had a busy morning, very busy Monday morning. But I don't have it, but obviously there has been some interaction with law enforcement. If you all wanted to get something, St. Charles County PD, Missouri Department of Corrections, or Illinois Department of Corrections may have that. I don't have anything.
Do you have anything more specific on the quantity of methamphetamine and street value or anything like that?
You know, it would just be speculation, but I've been doing this job a very long time. It may not look like it, but I've been a defense attorney and prosecutor for 18 years, and it was a very large quantity of methamphetamine. It was the biggest bag of it I have ever seen. Over 100 grams in my estimation. It was a big, big, big piece of methamphetamine. Big solid block.
Do you guys have digital pictures of those?
We will. I don't have that today. That's all part of the state police crime process, and they They're real good about getting stuff to us, but it usually takes weeks, not months, weeks. But I don't have that for you today. There were pictures taken. I was there whenever that happened. Okay. All right, does anybody have any other questions? If not, if you all want to get me your email addresses, I don't know if we got a piece of paper we can, I'll give something to you. We will push out this packet of information, or in the alternative, I can go make you copies right now and give it to you, whatever you think would be easier or better for you. You want to write your emails here? Sure. We'll make sure you get that packet. Okay. Thank you all.